that, I am extremely grateful. And I can't thank you enough for organizing this fantastic event where we can come and honor moms. And you're a fantastic lady, and Family Time is very, very lucky to have you help with all of their fundraising. Since I am not from here, and my parents and my mother live far away, or not far away, 2 hours away north in East Texas, outside of Lufkin, I wanted to introduce my mom, here in Patton, who's over here. She's been an elementary teacher for about 40 years, 35 years. She was at Firth Elementary in Lufkin, Texas, where she taught kindergarten most of those years. After she retired 3 years ago, she became a religion teacher at St. Patrick Catholic School in Lufkin. A lot of you guys that know me outside of the chamber probably think your mom was a religion teacher. Yes, and now what you're thinking is you must take after your dad. And yes, there has been many a time where she has lit up every candle in Lufkin's room. But for those of you that don't know me, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about growing up and the lessons that my mom has taught me and instilled in me. Back home, I'm known as Jenna Patton, and more probably than not, I'm known as Jenna the softball pitcher. I played softball all my life, was a pitcher, and my parents have supported me, gone to so many games my whole life. I've had a lot of success, and the reason I had success was because of my mom. When I was in the 6th grade, my parents decided that I was going to take pitching lessons, and my mom talked to me before we committed to that, and she said, "We're making this commitment. You will do it for at least 2 years, and you will practice every day." Pitching lessons were $25 a week, and that was a lot of money, and if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And boy, did she mean it, because rain or shine, whether it was cold, whether it was hot, every single day, my mom would get home from teaching, she would fix the family dinner, and she would say, "It's time to pitch." And we would go in the front yard, and my mom would turn a bucket upside down and sit on it, and I would pitch for an hour, and she would catch for me. And she did that for 3 years, and then I got to high school, and she was always the best coach because she would tell me very nicely, but she would make it clear exactly what I was doing wrong. My spins were wrong, my form was wrong, my weight was too forward, it was too back, and help me make those corrections along the way. I was very blessed to have prepared for my high school career. When I was a freshman, I played JV. At the end of the freshman season, our varsity team made the playoffs, and I got called up to varsity. And I pitched every single playoff game for the varsity team playoffs, which for a freshman is very intimidating and very exciting. And in all that excitement, my mom reminded me that there was a young lady that's sitting on the bench during the playoffs, that God is there, and to not forget about that. And that if it weren't for her and her work, we would not be in the playoffs. And to be very respectful of what she had done and accomplished to get me to the spot that I was at. We went on, we were a game away from state, but we had a great season. And I was fortunate enough to be named Newcomer of the Year for our district. Our sophomore year was a banner year. That's probably the best year that I played, was my sophomore year, and was named district MVP as a sophomore. And for an underclassman, that I'm saying this to let you know that she's the one that got me to that place. And for an underclassman, that's a huge achievement. And so I did what every normal 16, 17-year-old high school did with all of that. I got a big head and a big ego. And started struggling my junior year because nobody could tell me what to do, because I was the district MVP who knew everything about pitching. So I struggled, and by the end of the year I was splitting pitching time with my best friend Courtney, who had also taken lessons with me all those years. By the time we got to playoffs, I was sitting on the bench. And for a teenager with a big ego, mind you, that was not an easy thing to do. I remember my mom telling me that Courtney had done a lot of hard work and had earned that spot. And my job now was to support her in everything that she did. And my job was to be a good teammate and do everything I could to support the team from the bench and to get us where we needed to go. Courtney won every single playoff game, and we went to the state tournament that year. For 2 months, I sat on the bench, and I watched, and I cheered. I did not complain. I kept my mouth shut. It was a very exciting time. It was a very hard time. My mom let me know that I had no one else to blame but myself because I had been slacking, and she was completely right. I had been slacking from pitching practice, and she said, the one thing that you can do right now is you can work. You can outwork, and you're gonna get your chance again. And when you get that chance again, you're gonna have prepared, and you're gonna be ready. So every day after practice in high school, my mom got to the backyard with me when I was a junior in high school, and we pitched for another hour. By that time, I was pitching 60 miles an hour. I pitched fast. I wasn't that great at spins, but I pitched fast. When you pitch 60 miles an hour, that's equivalent to 87 miles an hour in baseball. By this time, my mom was in full catcher's gear for practice. I don't want to talk about, my favorite pitch was the drop ball, and if you're off a little bit on the drop ball, it short hops the catcher and hits their shins. So she had so many bruises and probably knots that are still on her legs today from catching me all those years. But we did. For 2 months while we were in the playoffs, I came home every day and she got me back out in that backyard and we pitched. When we got to the state tournament, our first game, we played 11 innings. We won 1-0. About 10:30 at night is the longest game in state tournament history for 3A softball. And by that point, Courtney had pitched, which was almost 2 softball games to win to the next level. It was late at night. We were short on rest because we had to get up that morning and play in the state finals. And my coach told me that after not pitching for more than 2 months in a game, I was going to be the starting pitcher for the state championship game that morning. My mom was right. I would have another chance to get out there, and I would have another moment, and I was prepared, and I was ready. I took the mound the first inning of our state championship games, and I totally blew it. I loaded the bases, and it was a mess. And I remember looking over at my mom, and I was like, oh my gosh, just full of nerves. And I could see that she was like this, praying to God, no doubt, to get me out of this. And when she saw me, she said, calm down. And I did. I retired the next, starting the second, I got out of that inning without any runs. And after letting one person on in the second inning, I retired 17 batters consecutively, and we won that game 3-0 and became the state champions. But I say that to tell you the lessons that my mom taught me through that season, or through those years in my softball career. I've had a lot of success because of that. That's put me on a trajectory, on a path. Of course, there were scouts at the games. My best friend and I went on to play together in college, and we had a great relationship, and had many blessings because of that. But now that I'm getting older, I'm seeing the real lessons that I learned through that whole process, especially raising my daughter and my son now. She taught me about honoring commitments and working hard. She taught me about being gracious and being humble and accepting responsibility. I think my junior year was very hard, sitting on the bench and watching someone else enjoy success, especially when you had once been the person that was celebrating that success, but to be humble and to not blame anyone. You know, you see so many people now, especially in sports, where the parents are griping at the coaches and blaming the coaches that it's their fault. kids following suit. My mom could have very easily done that. She could have lashed out at the coach. I probably would have followed suit. And when that opportunity came to pitch, she probably would not have chosen me to pitch that day in the state championship. But she didn't. She let me know that I was the only one that was responsible for getting myself into that, and that I would have to work hard to get out of that. And she was completely right. You know, my mom's taught me how to be a good person. I mean, it goes without, she's a religion teacher, for goodness sake. For Christ's sake, she's not a religion teacher. So, yada, good person stuff. But teaching me how to have confidence in myself, teaching me how to be strong, teaching me to be resilient is the best lessons that she has instilled in me and has taught me. Because life, there are peaks and valleys. Those high moments are fleeting, and it's what you do with your life in those low moments and in those times of obstacles that really matters and that really shows your character. And having gone through those obstacles and having my mom tell me what I need to do to take responsibility and to get through has blessed me more in my life than any other lesson that I could have learned. These last 4 years have been extremely challenging. But I knew I could get through it because I did it before. And I have. And it's only because of what she taught me through those moments in my life that got me through it. I knew I would get to the other side. I knew I had to keep my head down and keep working, and I would get to the other side. And she's raised a very confident, strong person. And thank you for that. Thank you.